There is a moment, sometimes, when the world seems to hold its breath. When the screens fill with red, and the air feels impossibly dense, as if the pressure is building for something vast, something almost mythic, to unfold. I find myself, here again, standing on the edge of a precipice, where global uncertainty has reached new heights I never dreamed of. Higher than the panic that swept the world during the Great Illness, higher than the collapse of banks and the unraveling of once untouchable empires, higher even than the crash of dreams during the first tech bubble. Here we are, together. If you feel the weight in your chest right now, breathe with me. This is not our first storm. And if it's yours, if you're new to this hurricane, let me promise you, even the wildest winds eventually subside. Before we begin, join the Crypto 101 Central family. Subscribe to the channel because this is where we face the chaos together. And click that bell. Let every tremor and triumph reach you first, echoing in real time. Now, let's journey deeper, past the static, to the heart of what's unfolding. I open an old Ethereum chart, the way someone might open a diary with trembling hands, searching for patterns in history's ink. If you look closely, you can feel the pulse beneath the lines. In cycles gone by, in that faraway year when tariffs crashed dreams and quantitative tightening, for the first time ever, squeezed every last drop of confidence from the room, we fell. We bounced. The fall became a plunge, the plunge a collective gasp, and in the wake of the unexpected, a black swan swept across our vision. And what did we do? We expanded. The world printed money as if paper could heal wounds, and markets soared like phoenixes through the fog. And now, I watch this new cycle mirror the old. Another crash, another bounce, another hush, then, the shadow of a black swan growing in real time. History's script is familiar, yet every playthrough feels different in my bones. Global uncertainty, some say the highest in living memory, is the backdrop. It is as if the whole world waits, pulse thundering, for the next act. Maybe you read a comment buried beneath the flashing headlines. The tech bubble passed. Markets rose again. The great financial crisis broke us, then new heights followed. The pandemic sent us into hiding, only to deliver the wildest bull cycle we've ever seen. But some of you want to dwell in the darkness, to press your finger to the bruise and feel the ache. You crave the negative, the fear, the raw shadow in every graph. Believe me, I see the ugliness on the horizon. I taste it in the air. But that's not where the story ends, not for me. For where bears hunt and thrive on doubt, history quietly whispers a different lesson. Data, cold and persistent, loves those who hold on. After storms of volatility, those who invest with a wide gaze, eyes cast toward distant horizons, are usually, almost mythically, rewarded. If you had, for instance, stayed steady through the largest surges in market fear since the 1990s, history shows a return, a climb, year after year, defiant, beautiful. 13.6% after the first year, 46 after the third, 98 after the fifth. These are not fantasies. They are echoes engraved in the long memory of the markets. To be a macro investor is to accept discomfort like a second skin. To step into the eye of the storm, where everyone else runs for cover. You take profits when the world is drunk with greed. You stay the course when the earth shakes beneath your feet. I am still learning this lesson, tracing my fingers over each line of the chart, every scar and every rally. Decades tell the tale. The market rewards those who have the courage to stay, to wait, to believe. But, the present. The VIX is climbing, spiraling upward, a living gauge of fear. I cannot say what will happen this week, or the one after. Brace yourselves. Volatility can be a teacher or a tyrant. In a time of extremes, the S&P 500 has room to stumble, to seek its own reset. If you step back, observe the world from the distant vantage of time, you'll see endless valleys, cliffs, shadowed fear events trailing across the chart. It's never really game over, though the headlines will scream it is. Not for the patient, not for those who find value in discomfort. If you and I walk into the teeth of fear, remember, money is made in these dark places. When your stomach knots and the nights run long, when every instinct says to run, that may be the root of your next opportunity. Nobody makes their fortune at the peak, but in the depths, when despair is thickest, that is when seeds are sown. Look again at Ethereum, its volatile dance reflected in the trembling hands of a market searching for hope, and I try to show you. It's all data, reframed through emotion and memory. This storm is not abstract. Futures will open soon. The world is watching the Middle East, oil prices rising like heat in the night, as production halts threaten to stretch for weeks or months. In less than a day, fortunes could pivot, unless someone, intervenes. Oil could surge above 100, and the VIX could march swiftly into the 30s. A number that should feel familiar if you remember the chaos of the pandemic years. It climbed from 30 to 40, and while panic painted the charts, those willing to endure found the greatest opportunities tucked within the panic. I ask you, do you remember what that sense of finality felt like? Ethereum sliding from $297 to just $100, almost overnight, felt like the world ending. Yet, here's the secret. It was only another beginning. And now, the landscape is altered. Regulations are shifting. Institutions, for all their secrecy, are quietly building, buying, pouring their faith and infrastructure into the backbone of crypto. This is not a rerun. This is a new act, with new consequences, and perhaps new miracles. What of the crash that may come? None of us anticipated a once-in-a-century illness. None of us dreamed this new conflict would inflame the world. Yet, if pressure builds, if volatility finally boils over, crypto may capitulate again. The pattern is here. Tariffs, then tightening, then the quiet dread of a black swan. After that, historically, we see expansion. The timeline shifts with each cycle, the melody remains, but the tempo changes. My goal, as ever, is not prediction. It is preparation. The lesson from 2018 through the pandemic year, and every market crisis before and since, is this. When crypto plunges, it seeks a bottom along the sacred lines marked in Fibonacci's legacy. In the darkest hours, it touched the 786 support, wicked just beneath it. Today, as the market hovers above 2 trillion, or perhaps dips toward the 1.5, these levels may awaken again. Bitcoin, Ethereum, the old gods and newcomers alike. They swing with history, sometimes dropping by 35%, sometimes more. It's a harrowing feeling when your assets are marked by discomfort, but discomfort is often a liar. In the chill of fear, opportunity glows faintly, waiting for someone brave enough to reach for it. Maybe you'll accumulate. Maybe you'll wait. Your story is yours alone, but the challenge remains. Be ready. Always. I remind myself daily, it could all go to zero. I do not believe it will, but belief is not a strategy. Preparation, readiness for whatever nightmare or gift the world delivers, that is the only path. Altcoins may fall by half. Ethereum's dip, measured from its last swing high to the deep, was over 60%. Could it happen again? Of course. Will it? Nobody knows. Sometimes the world is kinder than we expect. Sometimes it's crueler. But if Ethereum slides to 1,200, or even falls 60%, you are not powerless. The difference between disaster and opportunity is often perspective and preparation. I turn to my tools and data not as forecasts, but as vessels for memory and context. The risk planner, the accumulation planner, they are not mystical, only practical. During the panic of the pandemic, Bitcoin's risk dropped to 10, its most inviting levels. Every time that model hit its nadir, that was the moment to accumulate. History repeats softly, not always as a mirror, but in echoes. Right now, Bitcoin sits at risk 22. In nearly 80% of historical cases, after 3 months, prices were higher. In every case, after 1 year, Bitcoin's price had risen. The past does not promise, but it does whisper. This isn't trading. It's patience. It's macro investing, my attempt to make sense of the tides. Even if you walk your own path as an investor, I hope you take something away, a sense that we can face the tumult together, that we don't have to flinch when the world shakes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Each gesture, small as it seems, is a thread connecting all of us, strangers, believers, skeptics, in this shared storm. And tell me, honestly, how do you feel right now? What are you doing to steady yourself in this sea of fears? Leave your thoughts below. I read every word, and your courage becomes part of my own. If you're still here, we come to my last thought. I will not pretend to know where the bottom is. I will not adopt the colors of a bear, just because the moment is dark. I have played these cycles before, and I will play them again, stubborn perhaps, naive perhaps, but always searching for the truth that lies beneath panic and greed. Hedge your risks. Act with purpose, never with panic. If the fear in the air feels suffocating, remember. History's greatest disruptions are often preludes to the next wave of growth. Tomorrow, a single decision could alter this tapestry of fear. Or nothing may change, and we dig deeper still, each of us waiting for the first rays of a reversal. What always follows those spikes of dread, those gales that bend even the bravest, is a market that, in time, recovers and grows stronger. Every past surge in the VIX was followed by unusually powerful bounces. I do not hope for more pain or to revel in disaster. But if we must endure, let us endure with vision, knowing that, one day, the turbulence will yield, and the patient will emerge into light. I am here, tracking my journey as an investor and a human soul chasing meaning in chaos. If you ever feel you are alone in this, know that I am walking the same crooked path, dealing with the same doubts, facing the same unknowns. The world did not plan for protracted fear or uncertain cycles, especially for those who chase altcoins across the shifting sands of hope. But we are here, and together, we adapt. So, step outside for a moment. Let the cold sun touch your face. Marvel at the wide sky, and remember, we are more than numbers on a screen, more than the dust on a chart. We are the story. We are the hope. Thank you for sharing this with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is your moment. Join us. Hit that bell, climb aboard for the next adventure. And before you leave, watch the other videos. The journey does not end here. God bless, and may your next cycle be kinder, braver, and infinitely more luminous than the last.